Thank you guys for joining us for another live episode of the Pursuit of Purpose podcast and the What Are We Doing series. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today we are going to have with us a very special guest. I'm going to let her introduce herself. She's getting herself set up right now. But for those of you joining us live and you want to take part in the discussion, first of all, thank you for being here with us, whether you're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Kick, Twitch, X, whatever the platform may be, but not Facebook, not right now. We're actually in Facebook jail. We cannot go live at the moment on Facebook because of some technical difficulties. That's what we're going to call it. I'm actually going to say that I think Facebook's picking on us. I think Meta decided that they don't align with what we stand for and what we practice, so they decided to ground us.
You know what? Do your best, Facebook.
Yes.
We're still going to be open-minded. We're still going to be welcome to all. And you know what, Facebook?
God bless them.
God bless them.
So and what's fascinating about that is I actually went through the process of setting up a service ticket. Not just once, not just twice, 7 times.
Oh, my word.
7 times. 7 times I went through the service ticket process with Meta, and none of them got me anywhere.
Really?
If you ever want to become a quote unquote digital creator or an influencer or whatever you want to call it, you're in for not the easiest time in the world. And don't get me wrong, I love that we have this as an opportunity in America to be an entrepreneur with this type of format. At the same time, don't think it's going to be a cakewalk or a bed of roses. There will be obstacles, learning curves, and opposition. But it's worth it. And we just want to say thank you for being a part of our audience.
Yes.
And as we prepare for our guest and as we wait on her to join us, to let you guys know, today we will be joined by a gubernatorial candidate for the great state of Texas.
Yes.
So while you're joining us, have your questions ready, your comments ready, because she's running against Greg Abbott.
Okay.
And there's going to be several in the race, but it should be a great opportunity for you guys to get to know her. And if any of you, like on TikTok, if you guys decide that you'd like to join us live, all you got to do is say so. I'll do what I can to bring you in and let you be a part of the live conversation. But what would be a question that you might ask a candidate for governor in the state of Texas? Because, Texas has one of the biggest economies in the world.
Yes.
And, as Texas goes, so goes much.
Yeah.
Like we are a leader economically. We are, we actually have a huge military force of our own. And we are the only state in the United States that can be its own country.
Yes.
So
if we so choose,
being Texas governor is a big position of service.
I mean, think about it. You got oil and gas, you got agriculture, you got livestock, you have tech now. I mean,
huge tech. Elon's here.
That's right. And so as you're thinking out there, I mean, this young lady being a candidate, and that she wants to put her hat in the ring, as the old timers used to say, that's great. But know that we hire these people to basically administer our causes. This is what's important to us. So it's important for you to be engaged, to be an informed person, and to be a voter, to be a decider. And even if the decision doesn't go your way, it's still your part of your responsibility as a citizen of the country of Texas to participate. So we hope you'll get engaged.
Six Dog says it's God's plan that people are flocking to Texas. I don't disagree with you. It is God's country. And my hope is that as we get all of these immigrants from all over the United States, my hope is that they do become Texans and they don't attempt to recreate Texas into where they came from. I hope that they come here because they love the state, not because they want to change it.
Right. Do you have to have a passport to
I think we should look into that. I think it might be beneficial to our state and our economy if we did something like that. What do you guys think?
A little vetting,
Yeah.
like any other country would. We were traveling there. They want to make sure that you've done it right in your country of origin,
Right.
And so come here, assimilate, man, and just be a part of the grand experiment that is the great state of Texas.
Right. So, do any of you? What do you guys think? Do any of you have any ideas, anything that you want to talk about with a candidate running for governor in the state of Texas? Hey guys, I see you on here. I see, let's see, Tashia Wise 2. Thank you for joining. Main Papa 1. I'm sorry. Thank you for joining. Ghost, I see you. Edward Stockton, thank you for joining. Renita Geller, Melissa. Animal Rescue Ken. Thank you guys for being on here. And if any of you decide that you'd like to take part in the show, hey, Underdog, thanks for joining. Danny Boy, Melissa, just let us know. We'd be glad to bring you on as a live contributor, and we'd love to hear from you. And
so what do you want to hear from a gubernatorial candidate in Texas? What are you thinking? What will be a topic that you would like to get their feedback on?
And then, have you guys been with us? If you've been with us before on an episode, put a thumbs up in the comments. I'd like to just say thank you. We appreciate our audience, and I don't care if your views don't align with ours. If you come on here just to argue, I don't care. That doesn't bother me a bit.
No.
You're still contributing to the growth and ideas of this great country.
That's right.
And that's one of the beautiful things about being an American and being able to have a voice like this and have free speech. We don't have to all agree. We can still get along and have healthy conversations and grow in the process and be respectful.
Yes, right. That's right. You're about to spend quality time with family, we hope, and goodness knows there's a lot of those kind of conversations around the kitchen. We don't all see things the same, but we love them and we love you.
So how many of you are ready for Christmas? Have you bought all your gifts, Chuck?
Yes, because that would be none. So, no, I have not bought all my gifts.
William Tell, hold on, I'm going to interrupt you.
Oh, okay.
William Tell says, fix the electric grid. I'm going to write that down.
Okay. How will you fix the electric grid? No, I have not finished my shopping. So here's an advantage in my world, though. Most everybody is an adult and they don't need much.
April Pope says the holidays are canceled. America is broke. Yeah, a lot of people would share that sentiment.
No kidding.
No
kidding.
There's definitely some mess out there that we've got to recover from. There's a lot of opportunity for growth
for our little beggars who want all these toys who think, I'm sorry, America's broke. Yeah, the economy's.
Yeah. So in the area where our studio office is located, we have a lot of people walking around out there. They are what do they call them? The new political correct term for people who are without homes.
I call them exercisers, but yeah.
Well, whatever you may call them, they're homeless.
Yes.
And it's not that often, actually. The ones that we have in our area are pretty respectful. They don't bother people too much. But when they do ask, now we know the answer. America's broke. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, that's one of my favorite Dave Chappelle bits. He said, no, we're not poor, we're broke.
So William Tell says, no $32. What does that mean, Will? Help me understand. Who should be giving gifts? That's who you should be giving gifts to, right? That's what April says.
Yeah.
April says we need to be giving gifts to those folks out there. Believe it or not, April, every now and then when I get the opportunity, when I feel so impressed, especially, I'll grab one of them. We've got several restaurants in the area and I'll go buy them lunch.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll, get them drinks or whatever it is, but I do what I can to help them.
Right.
And I've offered several of them coaching opportunities and other programs to help them gain employment and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, William Tell says maybe $3, not 32.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see who else. Franny joined, thank you. Brian Rittenauer. Mama Bell, proud Texican.
Nice.
I always get a kick out of watching some of the names, the handles that people come up with for TikTok. They're pretty humorous. William Tell said, the president said that about the dolls.
Well,
no, I don't like that name. That's funny. So there's a person on here who took the Netflix in and they put it as their icon.
Okay.
And then they named themselves IGGR. Yeah, I'm not falling for that. You think you're slick, but no thanks.
No, thank you.
And then so I'm gonna let you have that. There's McDonald's employees who can't afford McDonald's. Yep. I believe that. Okay, our guest is ready, and we're going to bring her on. I hope you guys are ready, and I have a couple of things that y'all brought up, so I'm going to use them. And let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. So we are live. Thank you for joining us here at the Pursuit of Purpose. I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the audience. For those of you on TikTok, you can't see her, but you will be able to hear her.
I'm Sarah Bowman Cunningham, and I'm running independently for governor of Texas.
So I've got to ask, because there's so many facets to anyone who decides to throw their name into the snake pit of politics. Why?
Well, I'm not a politician. I'm a mom, and I just am really tired of the corruption at all levels. And I think there needs to be a lot of reform and changes just across pretty much every aspect of our lives.
Well, you're not going to get a whole lot of argument about that statement.
Right.
It does seem and feel like quite a bit of corruption.
It does.
Especially if you watch mainstream media, social media, and everything like that. There's just gobs of it everywhere. It just seems like every time you turn around, there's a new one coming out. So I've got especially one question for you from one of our viewers already, but I've got something that I'm going to do before we get to that. I'm going to give you a chance, if you would, describe your platform as a gubernatorial candidate, because if I understand right, every candidate that runs for almost any office has a platform that they come up with, kind of their core values and you know what they want. So go ahead, take your liberty.
Definitely. So over the past few years, I've exit. I ended up quitting because I didn't agree with some of the values and things that were going on there, but I still completely agree with the concept and principles behind it of making Texas the independent Republic of Texas. I believe that we have a great economy that's bigger than a lot of the countries in Europe, and that we would do a lot better without all of the federal government reaching in and taking our taxes to do programs that we don't agree with in other states, instead of using that money towards Texas. I also want to reform our money and go to a gold-backed currency instead of just this paper that's worthless. I think that's a really important thing to do, is to make sure that we have money worth actual money. And there's just so many things. The healthcare industry, not requiring vaccinations. I think that that's definitely something that's been come up a lot in the news lately too, about a lot of the problems with the metals and things being in the vaccine that are hurting children, and parents feel like they're bullied into it or uninformed consent. And so I would like to make sure that that's definitely not something that's a requirement or anything like that, as far as children going to school and daycare and things like that. I'd also like to see CPS and family court completely revised and have it where it's constitutional law, because a lot of people are having slander and lies told about them and then losing their children. It's an epidemic. There's thousands of people. I've talked to dozens personally, and I myself went through that last year in January, where I had 3 fraudulent simultaneous cases against me that I won. But I'm one of the lucky ones. There's a lot of people that have fraudulent lies told about them, and then they lose their kids forever. And it's a really horrible system that needs to be dismantled, reconstructed, fixed, and all of that. Also, the geoengineering, the mRNA, all that kind of stuff, it needs to be stopped. It's there's so many different scientific articles and things that show how damaging it is to be spraying those things on us. The barium, strontium, aluminum, all of that, it's in our water systems. The fluoride and the atrazine in our water is also damaging to us, and that needs to be fixed. Just the rampant corruption. The Masons are kind of infiltrated in most government aspects through the police, the judges. I think that all secret societies and things like that should not be able to be in government positions, because it's keeping the corruption going and favors going and people getting, special treatment or persecuted, like in my case, for speaking out and having free speech. That was my experience, was that my free speech was completely obliterated, and I had my constitutional rights violated and everything else just for speaking the truth. And that's not how it's supposed to be. We need to have freedoms. We need to have accountability and transparency. I'd like to see a balanced budget. I would obviously be wanting to use people to help me in things that I don't understand with, like, finances and things like that. I'm more than open to have help. I just think that everything needs to change, like everything. And that we need to let everybody that's already here be a citizen, close up the borders completely, and have everybody paying taxes. And that'll fix a lot of problems too. Because there's a huge immigration problem, especially where I live in Denton. There's tens of thousands of people imported here from India, and nothing against anyone from India or anything like that. I just have noticed it. It's very obvious. Any store you go into, anywhere you go, you can see that there's a large influx of immigration. And in the Down syndrome group that I'm in, because my son has Down syndrome, a lot of the moms in there already have full citizenship after less than a year, and their children are on Social Security receiving benefits. And that's, that's not good, because they're not working. They're not, it's the problem is before that, because even before that, they're getting all the benefits. They're getting all the Medicaid and the housing and the food stamps and everything like that. And then I see all these homeless veterans and things like that, and we can't even afford to build them some tiny homes or do something. Like, the homeless problem needs to be addressed. Just equal health care for everyone. Just a lot of things need to be changed so foundationally. And the more I come across, the more corruption there is. Like, everything I look into, it's just been flipped upside down. And I really just want freedom, transparency, constitutional rights, and to have all of the children to be safe and happy and healthy, and to end any type of, like, child marriage, or any type of things like that that's been going on, any type of problems that have been going on that could be stopped and haven't been stopped because of corruption need to be stopped. And so that's what I'm running on, is a mom that wants change for my family and for everyone else's.
Well, you hit a big list. I mean, just that was. I'm going to tell you some of the comments. Okay, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but some of the comments that are coming through are like unicorns and rainbows and things like that. But I want to be specific about a couple of things because there are some important, very important topics specifically in there that hold a lot of value specifically. So not to be too generic, but I want to answer before I go into these that I've written. One of our participants, one of our audience members is named William Tell, and I don't know if it's a real name or not. That's what he goes by on TikTok. But he asked originally about specifically the electric grid in Texas. And that's a fascinating question. Have you ever looked into that? And if do you have any ideas about improving the electric grid in Texas?
So I know that we had the Snowmageddon or whatever that was a couple of years ago. You're having to have rolling blackouts and things like that. I think that our electrical grid is definitely needing improved. I think that there needs to be more infrastructure and especially like cold hardiness as far as the major power stations and things to make sure that if there is snow and ice, we're more equipped like they are up north, because that was kind of the problem that we came across, was that when we had the really cold weather, they didn't build our power stations the same as they do up north. And so we were really encountering some really bad problems.
Okay. So you said a lot of stuff. I want to go back to something you said about your rights were violated, your rights of free speech. Can you talk about that? Explain what you mean by that. What happened there?
So December 21st of last year, I had asked the police department on December 18th to investigate the Masons, some specific people in the Masons. And instead, a few days later on December 21st, they illegally came into my home. 3 officers, Officer Villanueva and 2 other officers. They threw me into a wall and broke 8 of my fingernails and dragged me out of my home. I was taken in their police car. I had asked for an attorney and they did not give me one. They showed me a sheet of paper for like less than 1 second where I couldn't read it. And they said it was judge's orders to have me put into a mental hospital. And I was taken to UBH, which is here in Denton. And as soon as I was behind a locked door, they had 2 vials of lithium that were waiting on me. And they had said will hold me down and inject me with those vials. My hair fell out. That's why I have short hair. I usually have really long hair. It also caused a bowel obstruction, and I was denied medical care for 3 days. My legs went numb at the same time, and while my legs were numb, they held me up and stripped my clothes off and took naked photos of me, and then took my clothes away and put me in tissue paper thin scrubs. And it was very cold. I had hypothermia the whole time I was there. For the 3 days, I tried to call for help on the phone on the wall, and it rang back at their desk, and they laughed in my face. Who did not ask me a single question. He told me that I would be there for 6 months being force injected, and that he had put in court orders to force inject me at all medication times. I was taken outside sometimes through a veterans unit where they were releasing gas into the air, and all of them were nonverbal. And I could also hear the unaccompanied military children there screaming at night for help. And I did report those things to multiple sources and in law enforcement, and no one's done anything. And so basically on the 3rd day, I was throwing up a lot, and they finally got me medical care, and I went to the hospital and got a tube put down my nose. And I spent, I believe it was 4 days with the tube down my nose, and then another 2 after that. I missed Christmas with my children. And they gave me 2 different mental health evaluations and a drug test while I was there, which I passed all 3. And when I came home, my driver's license, social security card, credit card, birth certificate were all stolen from my home. They were in different locations in my home. And shortly after that was when I had 3 simultaneous CPS cases opened against me. And they said that the reason that they stated that they had taken me in was they claimed that I had threatened to murder a family online, which there's no proof of that because I didn't do it. And then they also claimed that I was on medication that needed changed. And I have not been on medication at all. I don't drink or do drugs. And basically, I went to court and started talking about all these things. And they closed all my cases and paid my bills because I have integrity. I have the truth on my side. And no matter what, I'm planning to get legal justice for this. I'm suing them all pro se since attorneys will accept my case until they learn that the Masons are involved, and then they immediately say that they can't help me. So I'm having to do it by myself.
Okay. Well, that is wow. I don't even know what to say. That is a lot.
It was traumatic for me and my children.
What year did this happen?
It was last year.
Last year. So this is recent.
Last December, is that what I heard you say?
December 21st of 2024. And it's part of why I decided to run for office is because I'm tired of the Masonic corruption. Those police officers did not even get written up. Nothing happened to them. Nothing. And no one's doing anything about it. They denied 4 Freedom of Information requests for chest cam footage and for the judge's orders and things. I filed all the paperwork correctly and they illegally denied it 4 times. And the Attorney General's office denied it once, and now they're in the process of my appeal and they're reviewing it again. So hopefully I will get that footage. But if not, I'll be subpoenaing them in court. So I will.
So I'm going to ask a crazy question. I'm just really curious. In the origin, and maybe I missed it because I'm trying really hard. I want to listen to everything very carefully. In the origin of this story, how was the Masonic fraternity tied to it? Like, what was the connection in its origin?
So I come from a long line of Masons. My grandfather was a 33-degree Mason. My grandmother started her own chapter of Eastern Stars. My mom was a Job's daughter in Eastern Star. I come from an extremely long line of Masons, Eastern Stars, and Oddfellows, and basically all of those type of cults on my mom's side. And so I know what they do. I know the bad things that they do. They pretend to be pillars of the community while behind closed doors they do disgusting, horrible things to children. So that is why I want to expose them. And that's kind of the story behind that, is that it's kind of like a lifelong thing. And it's terrible what they tried to do to me.
So, okay. But as far as like, I get it. You have a long family history connection to Masons.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But why would they have such a negative influence towards you? Why would they be mad at you? I guess I don't know a better way to put that. What was it that they had that they wanted to be vengeful towards you? Is, I guess, the way to put it.
Okay, so I used to homeschool my daughter, and we got invited to a homeschool group in Aubrey called the Tribe Homeschool Group. And it was an invite-only group that was kind of an offshoot of the one that we had been attending previously. And everything seemed to be going fine until I started having members of me saying that they were Eastern Stars and then they started talking about how they all take their kids to the same doctors. And then it kind of came up that they were part of the bloodline, which the bloodline, they force their kids to be transgender. That's part of their Satan worship stuff. And I know it's hard to believe and everything else, but Y chromosome testing would definitely prove it.
So there were people who were Eastern Star, which for those of you in the audience that don't know, the Eastern Star is a female part of Masonic fraternity. But you're saying that these people practiced forcing their kids to be transgender?
Yes. And my aunts and uncles and cousins all do that too. It's part of the top degrees. A lot of the lower degrees aren't aware of it. They don't know until they get higher up. I'm not sure exactly what degree they tell people, but it's known in the top degrees.
Okay. Well, I'd like to circle back to that, if that's okay with you, because I'm letting our audience catch up. There's quite a few on the stream, and I've got questions too that I'm just so curious. Like I've never heard any of this stuff. But Chuck, did you have anything you'd like to ask right now?
Not at the moment. I'm just curious about, some of this topic though.
Okay, well, stay on it then.
Yeah.
So I've never heard this before, and I've been a Texan all my life, and I'm always learning about the Masonic fraternity and the things that they do. And I'll be quite honest at you. This is the first time I've heard any connection to Masons and child abuse.
Oh, wow.
I'd never heard it before. Now I'm not denying your experience. It's just my first hearing of it. I was a police officer for some years, and my first introduction to the Masonic fraternity was I ended up going to the Shriners Burn Hospital in Galveston on a bus with a bunch of clowns. And they were Shriners, and I didn't know this at the time, but in order to be a Shriner, you got to be a Mason.
Yeah.
So the entire Shriners hospital system is funded entirely through the Masonic charities. And I thought that was amazing. And that was the first experience I had with anything to do with, the Masonic fraternity. And I would have never in a million years expected to hear stories of transgenderism and child abuse.
Yeah.
That's, to say the least, it's very shocking.
It is, especially when these people in these groups are usually pretty intelligent, well-spoken pillars of the community. You would expect them to not behave that way. It's a very secretive organization with blood oaths, and they have different degrees where they say, if you tell the secrets, we'll cut out your tongue. Like, there's all different kinds of weird as you progress on up the ladder. They have a lot of reach into all different aspects of our lives through the court systems, police system, like everything. It's a really huge cult, and people speaking out against them typically don't survive. It's pretty much a miracle that I was able to come out the other side of this, and I believe that Jesus is on my side, and I'm not the only person speaking out against them. It's just really hard for people to speak out because of the backlash that happens.
Well,
I think I heard you say earlier that your grandparents were both promoted up. You said 33 degree and above. As a granddaughter, were you introduced to any of this as a child?
I was raped as a child, between 3 and 9, which is kind of customary in those families, but not forced to participate in their witchcraft or any rituals or anything like that. And I also was not forced to join their cult or be a Job's daughter or rainbow girl or anything like that. So I consider myself very lucky. Also, my cousins, they were forced to grow up as the opposite gender. So I'm also very thankful that that didn't happen to me either. So there's a lot of people that are forced into that and think that it's normal. And it's really sad.
I'm very sorry for your abuse. That's just horrible. And if you don't mind me asking, just to give our audience a bit of a reference, how old are you now?
I'm 40.
Okay, so
Chuck's always asking ladies how old they are. No matter how inappropriate, I tell him all the time,
Hey,
quit doing that. The females don't like it.
I'm a professional counselor. I'm entitled to ask.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sarah.
Okay.
No, but that gives our audience a point of reference, like how many years, at least in your history, you've had to live with those things. And I do hope that you've received good help for that. You deserve a better way, for sure. And sounds like that's what you're trying to offer your children. So,
well, I'm going to touch on something else that you said. Mm-hmm. You said you believe Jesus is on your side, and I'm going to tell you that he is. That Jesus is on your side, whether you become governor or not. And I hate that you have those experiences. I really do. And I'm curious, though. I'm going to ask a tough question. Do you have any evidence to support that system of or systematic child abuse that you talked about? Do you have anything that would work to prosecute or persecute or whatever you want to call it?
So, I mean, I have the names and addresses of the people that were in that group with me, but really on a case by case basis, as far as top degrees are and bloodline are different than just regular people that have joined a fraternity that really are kind of just foot soldiers in a way. They're not like in it. And so they don't really know. And so it wouldn't be fair to prosecute everyone. It would be like a case by case basis. But Y chromosome testing would definitely out the top degrees.
So what you're saying is that, okay, so now I think I've heard a differentiating thing there. You talked about Masons, but then you mentioned this other group called Bloodline. Is that a whole separate, like an appendant body?
Oh no, the bloodline are the top degrees, but basically they're really into genealogy and tracing the lineage back. My grandparents were super into it too. They like to trace the lineage back to like Egypt and things like that. It's part of their group, I guess, is that it's almost like a royalty or something. If you have like certain bloodline, that kind of automatically like gets you up to the top degrees a lot faster because you're born into the family and families of generational Masons. And so that kind of has to do with the Lucifer being like their god and everything like that.
Okay.
So you think that this is a group of these genetically progenerated members of Freemasonry who this is how they have to operate at that level, or do you think that they have somehow or another got, I guess, persuaded into some deviance, but they found each other and they collected? So is it like you must be this to be at that level, or this is just some splinter group that has all these perversions?
Oh, it's not a splinter group. That's how it
okay.
and us the Masons, it's a lot of different other secret societies and things too. Knights of Malta, like there's literally probably a list of like maybe 20 or 30 different cults worldwide that they all operate the same way though. They use the same type of rituals, the same degrees to level up, the same uh, like one of the low degree levels, they put you in like a coffin with a noose around your neck and like just silly stuff, but it just gets worse and worse as it goes. It's like a theater play, and they just escalate it into more and more satanic things as you get higher up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Well, and these groups that you're talking about now, from what I understand about the Masonic fraternity, especially here in Texas, not all people who call themselves Masons are actually a part of Texas Masonry. And do you know if these groups that you're talking about, are they part of the governing body of the Grand Lodge of Texas?
I honestly don't have that particular information. I just know that the higher up you go, the more you learn about what's really behind it. And so I'm really not familiar with what you're talking about. My grandpa went to the Hillside Lodge in Dallas for many years. And I really am not sure on the other ones.
That's fair. I just was curious. I know that there are many sects or groups that call themselves Masons that are different than what is considered to be the Grand Lodge of the Masonic Fraternity of Texas. And many of them are considered to be clandestine or more or less unacceptable to the fraternity. So I don't know. I don't know what the faction is that you dealt with. I'm just curious, and I've been learning a lot about that myself. But thank you for sharing your story.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen any. I never. You're the first I've ever heard talk about a coffin or a noose.
That's like level initiation. So that's a pretty common one that a lot of people know of if they're even, in the club. Like if they're in the club and initiated, they know about at least that.
Okay. Well, you're teaching me.
Yeah.
So you said, let's see, all secret societies. Well, to my understanding, in order to be a secret society, they don't want people to know about their existence, first of all, and then they definitely don't want people to know about their practices. And I mean, the Masonry thing gets a lot of curiosity, so we'll belabor that a little bit. It seems to be something that's a very important topic to you. So are you good with continuing discussing that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so from my understanding, a Mason, a member of the Masonic fraternity that is under the governing body of the Grand Lodge of the state of Texas, cannot invite another person to become a Mason. That, from my understanding, it's actually against their rules. In order for a Mason to become, or a person to become a Mason, a man to become a Mason, you have to ask. In fact, I've seen the stickers on the back of vehicles, with the Masonic emblem. It says, "To be one, ask one." And in your story, you talked about how some of these people were forced into Masonry.
Yes.
That seems to conflict with that. Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying you're lying or anything like that. I'm just curious. It kind of indicates that maybe it's a separate thing.
I think that the families, the bloodline families, like I was saying, how they kind of get through the different degrees really fast and things like that. when you're born into it, it's kind of a different thing because you already know some of the secrets, if not all of the secrets of the top degrees and what they're doing and what they're practicing and things like that. And so it's a bit different for people that are born into the bloodline families than people that are asking to join at, you know, out of curiosity or wanting to further their career or whatever it may be that pulls people into deciding to join. But when you're born into it, and you know, my cousins, they were forced into it. One of them makes robots in Brazil for the government. Another one is high up at GE. Another one runs a mega church in North Carolina. You know, things are given to these people for being in it. And I am certainly not in it. And money does not sway me. I have no desire to be a part of that whatsoever. And so I think it kind of is knowing that you'll get persecuted if you don't, knowing that the opportunities won't be there if you don't. It kind of it makes it where you almost have to join, especially if you're already transitioned. And
Transition. What do you mean transition?
like so when they do that to the children and they put them on the hormones and things, if you're already like transitioned like that, then it's kind of, you're already in the cult from birth in a way. And so there's not really a way to decide to leave it. You just start in it.
I actually saw something interesting, and it really supports that. I think that this group you're talking about is not part of, I guess the jurisdiction is the best way to say it, of the Grand Lodge of the state of Texas. I saw this thing, an article. It was online. It was talking. It was a conspiracy theorist thing, but it was an actual article from the Grand Lodge of Texas, and it said that something about Masonic law saying that a person who was transgender could not participate in Masonry.
That might have been just media. I'm not sure. Like kind of putting out a false narrative there, I guess.
Have you ever been inside of a lodge, an actual Masonic lodge?
No. Mm-mm.
The reason I asked that, I've toured them, looked at them. In every lodge I've ever seen, the fascinating thing is in the center of the lodge is always an altar, always.
Mm-hmm.
And in the center of that lodge, on that altar, always is a Bible. And so out of curiosity, there are bookmarks in every one of them. And they are verses in the Bible that have to do with believing in God, worshiping God, and adhering to the principles and precepts of God's holy word. Now, I don't know that all Masons practice that. I don't know all the rules. I'm no professional, but that's what I've seen. That's why I asked if you'd ever been in one. It raises lots of questions. And I would encourage you that it's very likely that not all of them are the same as what you've experienced. I hope not, because that's very detrimental. From what I understand, there are hundreds of thousands of Masons in Texas.
There are. Yes. You only have to believe in a higher power to join. And then eventually you have to swear your allegiance to Lucifer. Eventually, it's 5 degrees, but when you initially join, you can be different religions and everything as long as you believe in a higher power. And my grandma has a Bible, and in the front of it, it's got a magic wand and sage and things. And so it's pretty clear that it's not really a Bible.
Well, that's wild. I'd love to see a picture of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's been some questions back to our original discussion. We're going to jump off of this topic for a second. We may come back to it. There's a lot of interest with it. And Lori Kruth says you have to believe in God. Talking about to be a Mason. But back to where I was going. You mentioned earlier about getting Texas back to its own republic. And I had a comment come in that said, "Are you talking about Texit?" like they did in the UK, in Britain. So is that what you're referencing? Are you wanting Texas to secede from the Union and become its own republic again?
I have make Texas the country again. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have learned a lot from the Texit movement. I believe in the independent Republic of Texas, and I definitely would want that to happen. I think that it would be a lot easier to fix the problems if we just only focused on ourselves and had all the resources from our great state to do that with.
So I'm going to ask a crazy question, but it connects right into the rear end of that one. So you're running for president.
I guess
if we're going to secede, make ourselves a nation, then you would be the president.
I would be helped by a lot of people. It would not just be me. I would definitely want just better things for everyone, and I would be taking help from others that are better informed than me on different topics and situations, for sure.
Well, then potentially, this is our first presidential interview.
Yes.
We have interviewed governors. We've interviewed people running for governor.
Yeah.
And all sorts of people. And we've been very blessed to have all these opportunities. But this is potentially our very first opportunity to have a president on our show.
There you go.
So wouldn't that be a fascinating turn of events?
And
so,
and I do appreciate, though, that any good administration has to, whether you're running a company or running a country, you got to surround yourself with people who are smarter than us on lots of topics. So that's good. That's very, very non-presumptuous. I appreciate that. And I appreciate a lot of your more libertarian stances, especially on gold-backed money and various things like that. That's those are good qualities. Very, very Texan, by the way.
So I have an audience member on TikTok. I believe she wants to join. She's participated in previous episodes. Her name is Brooklyn. And I said it like that because she spells it with a bunch of O's. I don't know where you went, Brooklyn, but are you still wanting to come on? Oh, she says no, not anymore.
Okay.
And then another guest says, got to know and research a whole lot more about each potential candidate. And that is LSE.3. Yeah, and that's why we're doing this, to give you guys an opportunity to get to know a candidate.
Yeah.
And there are several candidates that have thrown their hats in the ring for this race. It's going to be fascinating. So I'm going to ask a question that no one's asked yet, but what do you believe sets you apart in a positive light from all the rest, aside from Texas becoming its own republic again? I mean, that's a big one.
Okay. That I'm a mom and that I'm not a traditional politician, and that I want the poisoning to stop of our water, food, air, everything else. That I just want health and wellness and transparency, and for everyone to live in peace and be happy. And I'm not focused on money, and I cannot be swayed financially. I don't owe anyone anything. And I'm doing this to end the corruption and expose people that are doing bad things.
Have you been threatened at all since you started?
Yes.
Do you know by who?
The police.
Oh. And you attribute that to the fraternity?
I don't know for certain that those officers are in it, but I would say most likely.
Okay. Brooklyn asked how old you are, since we already know. She's 40.
Mm-hmm.
My co-host here was so brave and rude enough just to straight up ask her.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. I can't apologize for asking an honest question.
So, where were you born, Sarah?
I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, but I've spent most of my life in North Texas.
So, how old were you when you moved to Texas?
8.
Okay. And North Texas has been the only part where you've lived.
Yes, just all around North Texas. I did briefly stay in Oklahoma for about a year and a half in my early 20s. But other than that, I've always lived in North Texas, mostly Denton. I also lived in Las Colinas as well briefly, but mostly Denton.
You know, my wife, I imported her and into Texas. She imported herself into Texas. I imported her to Southeast Texas. She's from Oklahoma. Okay. She's from Ardmore, really pathetic city, but she says that Texas owes a lot to Oklahoma. Do you know this story?
No, I don't know this.
Yeah, my wife told me that Texas owes a lot to Oklahoma, because if it were not for Oklahoma, Texas would have already fallen into the Gulf. But Oklahoma sucks so bad. Now that's my wife, and she's from there. I don't know enough to say that, and I'm not. So that's what she says. Bless her heart. But I just thought that was funny. I mean, you know, if you can't laugh at that, what can you laugh at?
Right.
So let's see. How many siblings do you have?
I have one.
One sibling. Are you the older or younger part of that?
I'm older.
You're the trailblazer. How much older?
4 years older.
Oh, okay. Well, that qualifies. Like if you were 12 years older than your sibling, it doesn't qualify. You're still an only child.
Right.
Because you didn't get the experience of, you know, they're touching me, or, you know, they took my things, or, you know, they pulled my hair and all, you know, within 4 years, 5 years, that qualifies
Absolutely.
as a sibling.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, my kids are years apart, so we definitely go through a lot of that.
Okay. So you have a child with Down syndrome? Is that what I heard?
Yes, my oldest child, Trenton, he's 14 and he has Down syndrome.
Okay. And so Trenton's blessed with an extra chromosome.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great people. People with Down syndrome, great people, big hearts. And how many kids do you have total?
I have 2. I also have a 12-year-old daughter, Avery, and she has gone through her own medical issues as well. She had a kidney transplant 2 years ago. I gave her one of my kidneys, and so she's doing well though. So it's hopefully the last of anything major going on health-wise, because my son had heart surgery when he was a baby too. So we've been through it medically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit. At some point in time, we'll have to have you back on the show and do our formal interview about your life and your journey and your pursuit of your purpose. It sounds like it would be fascinating. The audience probably get a lot about that. But Chuck's got to go. We're going to finish together, but he's got to go. He's got a client in the office he's got to go talk to. But our audience has been quite a bit interested in things. And let's see here. I'm going to scroll a little bit and see what you guys are saying.
That, thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you taking the time, and good luck in your pursuits.
Thank you so much.
All right. Oh, how do you feel about the growing Muslim population in Texas?
So I am good with every single religion as long as there's no abuse toward or child marriage, or any type of arranged marriage. I'm against all of those things because it takes away freedom for sure, and also that it's so I would like to make sure that none of those things happen anymore. I know that right now you're able to get married under 18 as long as you have parental consent, and I would like to take that away and make it where you can only get married at 18.
Okay. And your mic cut out a little bit in your description, but I think what I heard you saying was you don't support child marriage in part of your response to that question. Is that true?
Yes, I think that the marriage age should be 18.
Okay. And that is regardless of culture or religious practice.
Correct.
Okay.
So against marriages, and I'm also against any type of abuse towards women.
Okay. And do you have any feelings towards Sharia law?
Well, I think that anything that goes against the things I just said would be definitely, I would be against it. As far as people practicing their own religion, I'm for that, definitely, no matter what you believe in. You know, I'm Christian and I don't want anyone telling me that I can't be Christian. So I would like for everyone to believe what they want to believe in, as long as it's not hurting anyone or taking any freedoms away from anyone.
So to be very specific, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. You profess that you're a Christian, and I'm also a Christian. But I'm going to ask you, what does it mean to be a Christian? Because a lot of people throw that around. They'll say, I'm a Christian. And then you ask them, well, what does it mean? And they'll say, well, I go to church, or I've been a Catholic since I was born, or they may have an answer that's very generic. But I'm going to ask you, what does it mean to you to be a Christian?
Okay. So I don't go to church, and neither do my children. We pray at home. We pray every day. I've read the Bible cover to cover a few times. I believe that Jesus died for us and was resurrected after 3 days, and I believe he's the Son of God. And I think that's what it is to be a Christian, is to try your best to do the right thing and to treat everyone with kindness, especially people that are in bad situations or places that need help. I think it's really an obligation really to help people and do the right thing.
Okay. And I mean, I wasn't trying to like mess you up or make you say necessarily the wrong thing, but a question like that is helpful to expose someone's heart, especially on the spot. So is there anything that we didn't ask about you specifically that we need to know, that the people of Texas need to know?
That I will fulfill every single promise that I make, and that I'm not going to back down, and that I'm ready to go forward with this, and hopefully be elected. That's the plan.
You said hopefully what? You cut out.
Hopefully be elected. That's the plan.
Okay. So let's do this. Your top 5 priorities, list them out. Top 5. Just start at the top, your very most important thing that you want to do on day one, and then just work down from there.
Okay, the top priority would be secession. The second would be investigating the lodges and secret societies. The third would be CPS and family law, and completely revamping that system. The fourth would be to fix the currency, and this would be to hold police and all law enforcement accountable and have transparency and constitutional law.
Okay. How long have you been on the campaign trail so far?
Oh, I'm just barely in. I submitted my paperwork at the beginning of December, so I'm just starting. I met with the Texas Ethics Commission yesterday, so I should be able to go ahead and get a website going and everything else and get out there.
What do you think of? Here's a question from Viverse0411. What do you think about the current administration?
Oh,
It's a good question.
it is a good question. I'm very disappointed in some of the things that were promised and not met. The board issue, immigration is an issue. Transparency is an issue. The engineering is an issue. There's just so many things that I disagree with that are happening currently, and the main one I would say is not having free speech.
So, I mean, I'm going to point out the obvious. We're doing it right now, aren't we?
We are, but the way that what happened to me last December was free speech and attempted murder for my free speech. So it's there's not really free speech. It's they try to silence you.
Okay. And for those of you who missed the original, the early part of her interview, she had a very unfortunate experience where she was incarcerated, I guess you'd say, for lack of better words, and put through some pretty scary trauma. I'm very sorry that happened. I don't know a better way to say it. I don't know how else to address that, but I hope those that are punishable are punished. I hope that I hope that evidence comes out and you're able to get justice.
Thank you. And I plan to get legal justice. I have all of the documentation from the hospital and ring camera footage. I have everything except for the test camera footage, and I'm still waiting my appeal for that.
So your top priority is secession. Your second priority is quote unquote secret societies. Now, are you saying that specifically it's Masons or all secret societies? You talk mainly about the Masonic fraternity. Not sure if that's Texas Masons or if it's, other ones, but is it all secret societies?
Yes, it would be all of them. It would be the Eastern Stars, the Odd Fellows, the Masons.
Okay.
And I know when my grandfather went to SMU, there was some kind of a offshoot of a society there as well that was called something else, and I can't remember the name of it.
Okay. Well, there's quite a few, and from what I understand, now this is my understanding, by the way. Anybody can go into a Masonic lodge and see in there. It's not a secret. Now, if it's a Texas Masonry lodge, I don't know about those other ones, but if they're governed, like I was saying before, it matters. If they're governed by the Texas, the Grand Lodge of the state of Texas, then those lodges are open to the public to be entered and toured and looked around. You can touch anything, look at anything, that nothing is off limits. I want you to know that that's my understanding, and I've done it. And
Any meetings or initiations, though, or people going to higher degree levels, having to do rituals? Did you attend any of those type of things?
well, now I'm not saying those are public. No, and neither are. Just to be fair, company events where you work are not public either. When you get promoted at your job, that's not typically a public affair. And I'm not saying that there's a difference in a private thing and a secret thing. I don't know. Okay. So I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm not agreeing with you either that all of them are that way. Now, I think it's possible that you had a dealing with something that was real negative. And I believe you. I don't have any doubt about that. But I don't want, see, here's the thing. Here's what I worry about. I grew up here in Texas, and I've got a lot of friends. I was born here. I am a native Texan through and through. And I have seen transformations in our community throughout Texas. I've seen, like, for instance, Muslims. We've been dealing with so much growth in the Muslim population, and we've been dealing with so much with, you mentioned immigration, but I'm going to talk about the Muslim community a little bit because it's a very current thing that we're dealing with. It's really easy to look at them and say, they're bad, they're evil. It's really easy to do that. In fact, it's for some people, for some political sects and whatever, it's almost a hobby to say, look how bad. And I'm going to say this, I am not in agreement with the Islamic practices. I am a Christian, and as such, my faith is diametrically opposed to their practices. So I don't condone that. However, the people who practice Muslim faith aren't all bad people. I don't have any reason to fear them. I don't have any reason to hate them. And the reason I bring that up is I see it kind of as the same way with Masons or other quote unquote secret societies. We don't know. I mean, if it's secret, if it's truly secret, we don't know if they're good or bad. But I also know that there are like Kappa fraternities, college fraternities, and all their stuff's quote unquote secret too. And it'd be hard to say that they're all satanic. It'd be hard to say that they're all practicing abuse or, evil, satanic, ritualistic things. We don't know. I don't know. Do you agree with that?
I agree that the lower levels would not maybe be participating in some of those things. And like you were saying, college, society things, I don't know if they are in the same category as the Masons. So I get where you're coming from with that. I do know that the top degrees, they all are part of the same rituals and things that have gone back for hundreds of years practicing. So it's kind of something that's been passed down generationally and is just rampant among the different organizations.
Okay. Well, I just worry. I'm going to say this a certain way, and I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. I'm not as interested in worrying about if we offend people or not, but I am interested in not categorically being judgmental of people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like if somebody is a participant of the Masons and they just are trying to do something good and they're not realizing that they're, kind of joining into something that really is not so good.
Okay. So anyway, I mean, there's a lodge in my hometown, and I've been there many times, and I've never seen or felt any indication of anything like what you described. Now, I'm in Southeast Texas. Maybe it's a different world down here than up there in Denton. If it's that bad up there, it'd make me want to go see. Like, that's just the honest truth. I don't like to hear about it. I don't like to talk about it. I like to find out about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that someone with some sort of investigative ability hears, sees, or whatever this show, and maybe take some initiative and go root out the truth and let us know. So do you have any questions or anything you'd like to say as we draw to a close?
If anyone does do investigating, I would suggest looking into Thousand Hills Church in Hickory Creek, Texas, and also
Say that one more time. You broke up real bad.
I would encourage anyone doing an investigation to look into Thousand Hills Church in Hickory Creek, Texas, and also the unaccompanied military children at UBH in Denton, Texas.
Thousand Hills Church and unaccompanied. Now, what is that? I've never heard of that.
So UBH was where I was taken when I was kidnapped for my free speech, and they have unaccompanied military children there. And there's a bunch of military personnel driving Ferraris and Porsches and things. There's a lot of money being poured into that place, and I could hear them screaming for help at night.
And this is in Texas?
It's in Denton, Texas. Yes.
What does UBH stand for?
University of Behavioral Health.
Okay. Got it. And unaccompanied children, they're all military children, you said?
Yes, that's what they were calling them, was unaccompanied military children.
That's wild. This is the first I'm hearing of this. Does anyone in our audience know anything about this in Denton, Texas, the UBH? I'd love to learn more. And just so that you know, Sarah, my wife and I are adoptive parents. We've adopted kids from all different circumstances, and we are also cancer parents. That's how my wife and I met. We each had a child with cancer, and we lost one of them. And through that experience, that's how we were inspired to begin the adoption stuff. And so we're big child advocates. We believe in things that, stand up for kids, and a lot of those values we share with you. But I am just fascinated that that's the first time I've heard of that UBH situation.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Through that tragedy, we were able to create some opportunity for kids that likely wouldn't have had it elsewhere. So while it is a horrendous loss, we were able to honor her by providing a life for some other kids. So at this point, is there? Oh, what is? You're married now? Are you? Is that correct?
No.
You're not married. Okay, I'm glad I asked. I don't want to make any false assumptions. So you are currently not married, mother of two.
Yes.
And running for governor, possibly president of the Republic of Texas.
Yes.
Okay. See, now that was better. You said yes. The other couple of times you kind of you weren't sure. I think maybe I had the thought processed all the way yet of.
It really hadn't. I know and everything else. I just really hadn't even put two together, to be honest.
She thought she was running for governor, people, but she's actually running for president. So if you were elected governor and then were able to become president of Texas, you would stay independent?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you create another party?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I would just stick with independent, because it kind of represents what I feel is that we need to be independent and have freedom.
Okay. Well, do you feel like we've covered the topics that you wanted to cover today?
I believe so. Yes. I kind of went off on a tangent there for a while, but I got the main points across as far as secure borders and gold-backed currency and secession and.
So we didn't talk about that, and please forgive me. I wanted to ask, what about immigration? this is a huge topic. Texas borders Mexico, obviously. We have the most border of Mexico of anywhere. And how would you address that? How would you address the immigrants that are already here, not legally? And then what would you do going forward? What would your plan be for immigration?
The plan would be to give citizenship to everyone that is currently here so that they can start paying taxes.
So
And
blanket amnesty, just
exactly. And that would be it. It would be everybody that's here is here, and build a wall completely around the entire state with secure. We have plenty of technology to keep people from coming across or tunneling or anything else. We have ground penetrating radar. Like we can keep above, and keep the border protected. There's ways of doing it that aren't being utilized currently. So just get the border really secure, give everyone citizenship, have everyone paying taxes, and go from there.
okay. So you're talking about a wall all the way around Texas,
Yes.
like from to keep what would then be the United States aliens from getting into Texas.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, you guys heard it here first. Potential governor, and even more potential, the new president of the Republic of Texas. I'll tell you what, though, as a loyal and enthusiastic Texan, even though it may or may not ever happen, it always feels good to say the Republic of Texas. I don't know what it is. I can't describe it. I don't know how to quantify that emotion that it evokes inside of a Texan, but saying the Republic of Texas just feels good. I mean, I hope everybody out there agrees, but if you don't, at least it feels good to me. And anyway, I love being a Texan, and if y'all come down here, we'll feed you some pecan pie and let you taste some good barbecue. But anyway, Sarah, thank you for being a part of our show. Thank you for letting our audience get to know you a little better. And we have a comment. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it is from Zane. Zane says, mass amnesty is a reward, and that's not an option. And okay, so Viverse 0411 says, nobody in or out. That sounds great. So you got both sides. You got one for and one against. Well, there's more than one. I mean, there's quite a few, but I wanted to let you hear those. Why give citizenship? That's what K. Sarah says. And then I'm a literal ghost, LOL, says, I'm cool with Texas taking away and then shipping all of the fascists there. Oh, okay. So that one makes it obvious where they're coming from. But anyway, is this your first podcast to be on?
It is. I did a couple in-person interviews last year, but it was for like German television, and one was for Mexico. So it wasn't anything here. So this is my first actual podcast on a Texan podcast.
Well, welcome. We're glad to have you. Wish you well, wish you blessings on your journey.
Thank you.
And I am curious how it was. What do you think?
I think it was good. I'm glad that people got to kind of see what I'm about and hear what my plans are.
Good. Let's see. What time does she? Oh, they're being silly on there now. Kay Sarah says, I see you want to make Texas a country. Yeah, she made that really clear. So I'm going to drop as we close this interview, and I hope it doesn't freak you out too terribly much. I'm going to drop a little bit of a bombshell on you. I myself am a Mason.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I am a Christian. I was a Christian first, and my Christian faith is I won't compromise that for anything, for any organization or any activity whatsoever on this earth. It is the key principle that I live my life by, and it's what I build everything I do on. And also, to give you a little more information, in the appendant bodies, I'm not a member of all of them, and I don't even know all of them, to be honest with you. But I will tell you this. I am a 32nd degree Mason in the Scottish Rite and the York Rite, which I haven't seen any of that stuff. And I have no problem saying it. Like, if I had seen any of those things you described, I couldn't be a part of this. I couldn't. And I'm a part of Texas Masonry, though, which is very specific, and it is, it's very Christian, and I don't support any of those things you said at all. Like, it's horrifying, and like I've never seen a kid at the lodge other than on family night when we have a meal and everybody's there. So I just had I didn't have any idea what was going to come through this interview. And I actually debated whether or not to tell you because I didn't want you to be uncomfortable. So I waited till the end. I wanted to let you have I didn't want it to be tainted. I want the interview to just be pure and natural. And I have no ill will towards you. And I've never seen, heard of, or participated in anything like you described. And I do know as a fact that Texas Masonry doesn't allow any of that behavior, especially the trans stuff. That is bizarre. So do you have any questions for me?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm sure if you've made it up that many degrees, you've gone through some rituals and things like that.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, they're not like, I can tell you they wouldn't scare anyone. Like it's.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your honesty.
Well, I mean, I got no reason not to be honest. And you can ask me anything you want to ask, and I'll tell you. Like, I got nothing to. I wanted you to have a chance to get to know me a little bit before knowing that about me, because that is not the definition of me. It's something I do. I mean, I hope that makes sense to you. But you're welcome to ask anything you'd have that might be a question. And anyway, I wanted you to know that. I didn't want it to be anything that you felt like you should have known after the fact. You find out later. We've been doing this podcast now for a little over 2 years. We're very blessed to have a big Texas audience and then a worldwide audience as well. And it's very exciting. But I'm going to mention something to you, and it may shock you. I've never gained any financial advantage from being a Mason at all about anything. And I'll tell you this, I'm the first Mason in my family. Nobody else was in it.
Mm-hmm. So, how long have you been a 32nd degree?
5 years.
Okay.
Now there is a 33rd degree, but the 33rd degree on both sides is an honorary degree. It's one that has to be, you would be nominated for. Mm-hmm. It's not one that you get through like a ritual or like typical progress. It's not something I'm really striving for, but does that, I mean, I don't know. Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't. I think that maybe maybe the experience is not the full on authentic Mason experience as far as like what bloodline goes through.
And see, I never heard of that. Like, I really like.
I know that a lot of people they kind of infiltrate and have some people as
You're cutting real bad, Sarah. I hate that. What did you say? I'm sorry.
Oh, that just some of the participants are not kind of in the loop of what's going on behind the scenes. So it kind of helps their organization keep it legitimacy, I guess you would say, because then they have a lot of people backing them up and saying, "Oh, it's like that." So I think that's just kind of maybe what's happened. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, one of our guests, by verse 0411 says, AKA, you are out of the loop. I'm asking, am I out of the loop? Is that what you're saying? And I guess I am. I have to be if all that stuff's really going on. But I've never seen it, and I hope that it's not. I hope it's not in Texas Masonry. I really do. And I'll tell you this: do you know what the Grand Master is? What that position is?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So 3 of the past 5 Grand Masters of the state of Texas have been friends of mine. Like I got to know them through their service. One of them is actually from Southeast Texas, and I got to know him and his son. Like I wouldn't say the best that you can, but I got to know him pretty well. And both of them we've discussed our faith, we've discussed Christianity, and it is a higher priority than the fraternity. And that seems to be a common thing among at least the Masons that I know. And what I have noticed and I'm going to tell you this, I was also a police officer. I was for quite a few years. And something I noticed in cults, since you mentioned it, in cults, the cult is priority over almost everything. Would you agree with that?
I would say keeping the secrets of them is top priority, but it might not rank the highest in your life necessarily.
Okay. Well, I don't, there is nothing in my life that ranks higher than my faith in Jesus Christ. Nothing. Not a secret, nothing. So I just want you to know that at least one of us, I can't speak for all the rest of them, but at least one of us has that in common with you. So I hope there are more of us like that. And I believe that the guys that I know that are in the fraternity, I've never seen any indication that they're any different from me. And maybe they are, and they're really good at hiding it. So William Tell says, no, I would disagree. The leader's power over members is the top priority. Well, maybe in some groups, but not the one I'm a member of. In fact, the key principle in the leadership is being a servant leader. It's not to have power at all. But anyway, and those are biblical principles. Like when Jesus, washed the feet of the disciples, things like that. But anyway, Sarah, it has been a pleasure. And I hope I didn't throw you off too much, but I wanted you to know who you were talking to. I wanted you to have complete transparency. I don't believe in keeping secrets. I don't believe in dishonesty or falsehood or anything like that in any way. So
Okay, well, I appreciate you and you sharing, how your experience has been and things about yourself. So I thank you for that.
And I still would like to have you on. Now, Chuck's not a Mason. the guy, my co-host.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's not a Mason. He has been to a lodge and done a talk about grief, but he's not a member of the fraternity. But anyway, thank you so much for being a part of our show. Thank you for allowing us to become a part of the pursuit of your purpose. I wish you the best of luck and all of God's blessings
Thank you so much.
for you and your campaign. And thank you out there for joining us in the audience today for another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast with our very special guest, potentially the governor of Texas and potentially the president of the Republic of Texas. Would you have a slogan? I didn't even ask that.
Oh, I haven't come up with anything like that yet. It's kind of just, I'll figure something out.
We got to come up with a good one.
Right.
Something musical, something that sticks in your head, like an 80s song that you just can't get rid of. So we're proud to have you as a guest. Thank you to the audience for all of your participation. Sarah, if you would, after we end the show, hang out for just a second, okay?
Okay, sure.
Thank you guys out there for joining us today. Y'all have a great day, and we'll talk soon.